Good afternoon. This is the Thursday, March 15, 2018 meeting of the Athens City Planning Commission. 4 members are present, 1 is absent. A quorum has been established. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak with the commission today? Just raise your right hand, and do you solemnly swear to tell the truth to the Planning Commission as you know it? I do. Thank you very much. Disposition of minutes. Are there any changes, additions, comments?
I reviewed with Patty. I decided I think footprint was 1 word, but that was all. So I would move to approve the minutes from March 1st.
Okay, and I'll abstain.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
There are 3 members in favor and 1 absent and 1, I guess you could just say, I was not here the last meeting, so there we go. Cases right now. Case number 17-21, change. Title 41 at 88 East State Street in Athens, Pro Coast Rentals. Mr. Surroy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and public. This construction is Pro Coast Rentals. It's proposing to build a 1,450 square foot 3-story building with office space on the 1st and ground floor and hotel accommodations on the 2nd and 3rd floors. This project was previously approved by the Planning Commission on December 12, 2017 and the Shade Tree on December 7, 2017. The previous project only had 2 floors. They've since added a 3rd floor. The applicant developer is Pro Coast Rentals, 88 East State Street in Athens, Ohio. The parcel number is A as in alpha 0281500000300. The contractors to be determined. Architects is Michael Knowles, Suite 204 Richland Avenue, Athens, Ohio. The zoning is B3. The current land use. The Pro Coast office building was damaged by fire and condemned and was demolished. Currently, the portion of the property is currently used as a rental and deed-restricted parking. Proposed land use, new commercial building housing Pro Coast offices, commercial office space in the hotel with 24 bedrooms. Proposed number of buildings is 1. The building size is 1,450 square feet. Previously, it was 9,080 square feet. The lot size has not changed. It's 17,455 square feet. The estimated cost of the project is $2 million. Surrounding land use is B3 and R3. Now we go on to staff comments. From my office, I'd like to note that the site plans reflect Title 41 submission date of February 2, 2018. Changes reflect a submission date of March 13, 2018. The Code Office received the plans on March 14, 2018 for review. So I just wanted to note that because we had to scramble to make this meeting. Office of Code Enforcement and Community Development. 1, the parking office, 1 space for every 300 square feet, needed 4. Hotel, 1 space for every 2 rooms, needed 12. 31 spaces available. Previous 15 deed restricted spaces, document was provided. A change, though, to 14 deed restricted spaces. Note, the applicant will provide additional documentation reflecting where that 1 deed restricted parking space is provided. Required parking, 17 spaces are available. Required 2 ADA spaces, and those are provided. Applicant needs to provide, again, 4 bicycle rack in accordance with Table D off-street bicycle parking requirements. That was presented and approved in a previous approval. Signs, no signs requests were presented at this submission. Applicant will submit the application later date. Variances, none required. The dumpster location. Previously identified, the dumpster location meets the requirements under Title 37 for screening. The code does not address that you cannot park in front of the location. Previously, the applicant had advised the Code Office that trash bins would be used instead of the actual dumpster allowing for trash removal. We have a concern. The addition of the hotel 24 rooms will generate more trash and recyclables. Note, page A102, description, it says forecourt on the plans needs to be corrected to reflect food court. Title 33 Shade Tree Commission. Requirements were approved by the Shade Tree Commission on October 11, 2017. These requirements will be applied to this project. Note, sheet 11-101, parking corrections were not reflected for the corrected parking requirements. Refer to page A101. City of Athens Fire Department, Chief Robert Reimer. Chief Reimer will reserve comments for the planning stage. FDC located State Street side with a 5-inch Skorts connection. B, sprinkler monitored by third party 24/7. City of Athens Police Department, Captain Harvey. No lighting details were provided on the plans. Police cruiser is unable to drive completely around building. Lighting on exterior of building and general parking lot recommended. These comments were in the last approval also. I'm just bringing them forward. Paul Logue had no comments. City planner. Number 6, City of Athens Engineering and Public Works Director Andy Stone. I have attachments in the package. A redesign was promoted by the city responding to a sewage overflow on the property. This resulted in a previously unknown sanitary sewer that traveled from Franklin Avenue through the property, going underneath the old building, which was demolished. That sewer was destroyed when the building was demolished. The city will be constructing the realigned sewer. For Title 41 review, the requirement that the city will quitclaim any previous sewer easement that traversed the property, and the owner to grant a new easement in the new alignment. Note, the previously EPW approved marked C101 page with comments will be added to these requirements. That's all.
Are there any comments from the commission? Just out of curiosity, Mr. Surrey, on the Chief Reimer, did he note why he would reserve comments for the planning stage?
That is normal. We don't get full set of plans till later, the building plans, and that's where they show their sprinkler systems and things like that. And he reviews those and then provides comments to the applicant.
Right. Mm-hmm. Would that be better served, though, at this stage when, we're approving the project to begin with, or?
Yes, in a way, but what happens, it's hindered because state plans, they don't always get state plans. They wait for them. It takes a long time for the process. Sure, okay. So we don't want to add to that time.
I see, okay.
And when we do get them, they do get a full review, and they now get scanned into the system for EPW.
Okay. Would you care just to come to the podium? I think probably there's going to be some questions fielded to you. And just state your name, please, and who you represent.
Architect on the project. Just for your knowledge is when we submit drawings into the state, actually the sprinklers are shop drawings. And so that's even a longer process. So we can get, for example, almost within a week, foundation and structural shell permit to start a building, and then follow up at that point with mechanicals and lighting and all the architectural. Sprinklers even later than that because they have to take those completed drawings, do shop drawings, which is the actual way they'll put it together. That is submitted into the state of Ohio. So you usually don't see sprinkler drawings till you may be halfway done with a project before you'll actually have a final permit on sprinklers.
Okay.
So that's kind of the process that exists now with sprinklers.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
Well, I guess just to clarify, the state ultimately approves the sprinkler system and the fire suppression for that.
That is correct. Although Chief Reimer he will do an inspection, they'll do flow tests, and all those kind of things at the very end before a final occupancy permit is issued on the project.
So you'd be able to build it, but perhaps not occupy any of these new builds that would occur based on that.
That's based on that, yeah. Correct.
I have a question as far as the dumpster locations. Mm-hmm. If you are planning a hotel, what was the advantage to having just regular bins put out on the street versus having a dumpster site position?
The difficulty of a trash truck to get back into the site with what we have is in the fact that you actually can't get a dump truck or dumpster trash truck through underneath the building to go out. You would then have to back into the site at that point, and it just so much more difficult, and with what Procros Rental has with the number of staff they have with the maintenance people and stuff, it's going to be a lot easier just to put it out onto the street on trash day and then bring it back at that point. Then.
When they say 24 rooms, how many beds would be per room?
24 beds.
24 beds, okay.
That's correct.
So if that was capacity, and that's probably a daily, the hotel would be 7 days a week. Is 1 day a week enough for the city's trash cycle to come around?
Our other hotels that we have gotten smaller and smaller. The original one we did here in Athens, Holiday Inn Express, had huge dumpsters. And now with the recycling process that we're going through, the actual trash and stuff is greatly reduced. And for the most part, most of your trash is just pieces of newspaper, maybe a bottle or a can or something like that. So actually in the rooms, and that's the more quantity of materials. It's not like you have with residence or apartment or something like that. It's greatly reduced.
RJ, the rates, if I may, are based on the collection, the volume, and the recurrence. So it may very well be put on 2 or 3 times a week for that.
And we have that option. As we get into it, if we see we can't handle it, then you add another day and another pickup at that point. One would hope that would be the case, because that means you have a lot of people staying, and that's a benefit to the owner of the hotel at that point. So.
But I'm just wondering how, in terms of just appearance, if you've got trash bins out on the curb 2 or 3 times a week, yeah, I don't know, the ambiance, if you will, as far as around the hotel?
They can arrange with Athens Hockey to pick up the schedule of pickups pretty much in a timely fashion. So we can address that real easily.
Okay.
I had a question on the required parking. It says I had 12 at the top, correct? But 17, or so there's like a +5 in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mayor, Ms. Bain, any questions?
I just want to ask again, the parking spaces provided for the people across the street are still there and deed restricted, right?
Yes, ma'am, except for one which he's going to provide. They did some, the individuals across the street, they changed the use of the building, which reduced the parking requirements, so that allowed them.
As long as we have
Yes,
it for the ones.
yes, and they're going to provide the documentation to me for that one that they moved.
Oh, so they're not.
Yeah. I won't provide the permit until they do.
Is that for the rental at the corner?
For the, yes.
Steel church?
Yep.
So I know this is yet to come, but the signage, let's talk about signage for a minute. You know, what is being thought of in terms of having signs, given how close this is to the curb?
There's been a lot of discussion on signage, and we showed one sign there, but it's going to have to come down to how he finally decides to name the hotel or to put it together. Basically, the entrance for the hotel and for his rental operations is at the same location. And so I think he's looking at how to name the building so that someone coming into town would realize, oh, that's a hotel, that's where I'm staying at that point. So we're doing some study and trying to determine how best to identify the building at this point.
So you're not looking at a standalone or freestanding sign?
No, we have a lot of surface area on this building, so for the most part, it would end up being meeting the codes for mounted on the side of the building. Okay. Yeah, standalone is.
There's nowhere to put it.
Yeah, there isn't. And what he has now is an ugly one, so we definitely want to get it pulled out of there as quick as possible then.
Well, I think it's important, especially with the recently discovered sanitary sewer, that if we move to approve, it would be contingent upon all of these items in here, because it also includes that they provide the documentation on those deed restricted parking spaces. Was that a move? Is that what you had to say? I don't know if anybody else has other questions.
We're all set? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Would someone like to put forth a motion?
So I move to approve this Title 41 change upon the condition of all of the Title 41 site plan change review comments from all staff. That capture it enough?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so that would be unanimous, and one absentee.
I wrote down a note though, Mike, that said no freestanding sign, so in the future, I'm gonna come.
No, as big as surface areas we have on that building should be no need for a freestanding.
Okay, there are no communications. Report from the city planner, Mr. Logue.
Just one or two things this morning, or afternoon, I suppose. Continuing to work on the city's comprehensive plan. We're doing some background information and data gathering right now. Hope to get some sort of information out to the public in the next either Friday or Monday about some next steps, trying to get some meetings scheduled into April and May, some public meetings happening on topics. And then as we move from topics into May, we'll start having neighborhood level meetings to try to get some information from our community members and residents. And at the same time, we are, as part of the comprehensive plan, the city received a grant from Ohio Department of Transportation, one of 4 or 5 communities in the state, to focus on how to better utilize, get active transportation in our uptown district. So how to make it work for people on bicycles and pedestrians and things like that. That project is just starting now. There's a consulting firm on retainer through the state who will be providing services to us. They'll be in Athens in mid-April, April 9th and 10th, I believe are the dates, doing some field work. Last week we did data collection at 14 intersections uptown, looking at vehicular movement, pedestrian movement, all of that. We did it early in the week last week before students and community members left for spring break. So we've got some good numbers. I'll think that data should be coming in Friday or Monday. And we'll be able to take all of that information and incorporate that into the city's comprehensive plan. And as part of that, we also wanted to really get some detailed market analysis as well as population analysis of Uptown. How many people actually live in Uptown Athens? How many people work in Uptown Athens? How much capacity is there? How much could we project into the future for possible residential, but also office space and things like that? So it's a good project.
Any questions or comments to Mr. Logue?
No, other than I'm glad you brought up the traffic count cameras, just in case anyone was concerned about cameras being hung from the lampposts and streets.
Yeah,
traffic
they were up for
poles.
about 48 hours, and
Right.
I don't think we heard a comment.
They're down
about
now.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Just
Thank you,
that-
Mr. Logue.
Thank you.
Interesting to see the population results, because I think it's really been increased. And as we look at these buildings that have put on additional levels and they have more,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see what capacity is.
Mr. Surroy? Mr. Surroy?
I have nothing, thank you.
Nothing? Okay. The opportunity for citizens to speak. Did you care to address the Okay. There are no other residents or citizens in our live audience to address the commission. Announcements and other business. Our next meeting will be April 5th, 2018, here in the Athens City Hall. And with the business concluded for the Athens City Planning Commission, this meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.